Now, as we take a look at this, right here, we are going to be given the details in the 25th chapter about the building of, verse 10, the Ark of the Covenant. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1.5 cubits shall be the breadth thereof, and 1.5 cubits shall be the height thereof. These are the measurements, and the cubit, which we can still measure in Israel today, at the remains of Hazor, Gezer, and also Megiddo. These are the cities that Solomon built, and the gates still measure out in the divine cubit of 29.62 inches. And we see that the Ark of the Covenant, this is the very first thing. Now, it's going to be one of the last things that's built, one of the last things that's put in the tabernacle. In fact, one of the last things that's put in Solomon's temple. But it is enumerated first because this is the representation upon the earth of the throne, of the throne of the Almighty. Now, we are going to read what it tells about this. In verse 18, I'll back up to 17. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, let's just read it. In verse 11, thou shalt overlay it, the ark or box of shittim wood, with pure gold. Within, without will you overlay it. And thou shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be in the one side, and 2 rings shall be in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. Now this ark is going to weigh a great deal, but the property of shittim wood is it's very small. It has to be gophered, or it has to be laminated in order for it to provide an accurate structure, an adequate structure. And so these staves are going to be laminated, or as it speaks of in the Bible, gophered wood, that are then, after they're gophered, are so extremely strong, it is like a laminated beam. And so when you see these beams, these poles that are then laminated, then shaped, and then covered with gold, now they are able to withstand the heavy tensile pressure, shear pressure, of the Ark of the Covenant, which will be borne by them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And the testimony are going to be the tables of stone, which we are not going to even run into until the end of the 34th chapter. The end of the 34th chapter, finally, Moses is going to be given these tables of stone. But first, we got to have a place to put the tables of stone. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1.5 cubits shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold. It says cherubims of gold in your King James. That's redundant. At the end of the word cherubim is plural already. If you put an S on it, making it plural in English, then you've got multiple cherubims. Okay, it is cherubs, or cherubim. Either say it in English or say it in Hebrew. Cherubim or cherubs. 2 of them of beaten work thou shalt make, and the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on one end, and the other cherub on the other end, even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherub beam on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall they look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall be the faces of the cherubim. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. Now, This is something that someone was trying to destroy Ron Wyatt's reputation by the name of another wannabe Torah teacher out there, Monte Judah, who said that Ron really couldn't have found the Ark of the Covenant. It had to be a fraud because it had two angels and it was facing the ark looking down. And he said that, no, that's not what the ark looks like. He said the ark has four faces. It has the face of an ox, has the face of an eagle, the face of a man, and the face of a lion. And this is what the ark looks like, and it has 6 wings. No, excuse me. It is not that way. You can read in the scripture that that is what the throne room looks like, that the living creatures on either side of the throne have these 4 faces, and they have 6 wings, okay? Ron Wyatt, in his testimony, reports exactly what the scriptures say here. Lo and behold, not the imagination of somebody who thinks that the Ark of the Covenant has to look exactly like it looks in heaven. No, it has 2 cherubim looking down at the mercy seat. Their faces are looking down. There are no faces of cows or eagles or lions. It's the faces of and they're not the living creatures, okay? Those are what is in the heavens. This is a shadow that is on the earth. That's why it's important to read all of the Torah before spouting out and not just coming up with your own interpretation on this. The only thing that Ron Wyatt found that has not been uncovered or laid out by others is the Ark of the Covenant. He found the Red Sea crossing site in Pharaoh's chariots. He's the first one to find it. Now Karolinski Institute has been in and has verified the very things using underwater robotic dive cameras, magnetometers, and this is even noted among the Egyptologists. Numerous people down at Nueva, ship captains have been down there. They've taken divers down there. They have their own pictures. There's no question about it. Ron Wyatt found the real Mount Sinai. And Jim and Penny Caldwell came back after 9 years of being in the Midian oil field and securing artifacts, and the video footage brought them back. We have now the high-definition video of the mountains of Urartu, where the Noah's Ark has been found, ladies and gentlemen. The Turkish government spent millions of dollars building a 4-lane highway and a visitor center up to the site of Nuhan Gemisi, or Noah's Big Boat. Now it has all been covered by high-definition cameras and artifacts secured from that area. There's no question about it. Sodom and Gomorrah, I have taken literally hundreds and hundreds of people out to this very location. Archaeologists have been out there. Tour buses stop out there. People go out and collect brimstone from this area. The only thing that has not been verified is the Ark of the Covenant. And this is when Richard Reeves purported to me that he was going to go down there and he was going to excavate for the Ark of the Covenant. I said, you won't find anything. This is not for you to toy with. This is not, this is what the Almighty has preserved for this time, and it's not going to be something that you're going to go down there and play with. And so everything that Richard Reeves has done, an attempt to go down there, has met with disaster. He's found absolutely nothing. But the Almighty is preserving the Ark of the Covenant where it is. You can find all about it in the Great Secret of Solomon's Temple, 2.5-hour video, or you want to get more of the detail, then you can go into the Spring Feast of the Lord and their prophetic fulfillment, which is the 5.5-hour video. Ladies and gentlemen, these things are reality, and this is why I'm teaching you this and getting you to understand this, that the Almighty has buried this shadow picture, the Ark of the Covenant, where it is, north of the city gate in Jerusalem, and it is reality. Those who come up with this fairy tale, like, Monte Judah has been espousing this because of Ernest Martin saying the crucifixion took place over on the side of the Mount of Olives, and the man he's dead now, but he was a joke. He was the laughing stock of every archaeologist in Israel. But Monte Judah picked up on this because Monte Judah doesn't want to believe the Ark of the Covenant's really been found. He wants to have his hot shot answers and think that he knows something when he knows nothing about this. I mean, the man, goes over to Israel and hires a tour guide to take people around, barely knows his way around the place, and he's now the professional who knows where the crucifixion took place. I'm sick and tired of these people that don't know what they're talking about out there spouting out about this stuff. But, Monte Judah told you back in 96 what to do. He said if the return doesn't happen in 1996, then he's a false prophet. No one should ever listen to him. Okay? So if you listen to him, then be forewarned. I'm just telling you these things because, I have to do this. I promoted Monte Judah's stuff. I made it available for a long time, and then, he just took off on these ridiculous tangents. Lou White. I just find out that I hope it's not true that Lou White is going by the dark moon and this other stuff. I mean, I have to expose this stuff as deception. This is a doctrine of demons, ladies and gentlemen, and I can no longer have any confidence in this if this is really true. So I hope that Lou will get a hold of me and say this is not true, and I can keep on moving his books because he's got a lot of good stuff to say out there. But, if we are going to go with the dark moon, if we're going to deny the Messiah and what he said to do, then it's time to call a spade and a false prophet, and to let people know we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We are Hanukkites. We are Hanukkites, and we are taking the sword out of the hand of the Greek Gentiles out here, and we're ripping it out of their hands, and we're saying we've had enough of your crap. And I'd say that biblically speaking. All right? We are going to take a stand, and we're going to take the sword and cut off what needs to get cut off. Because we are followers of the Messiah, who is the Netzer. We are Notzrim. We are the house of the Notzrim, all right? We are followers of the Messiah. We are not going to play games with rabbinic Judaism. We're not going to play games with Karaites who want to deny the prophet of whom Moses spoke because they're afraid, all right? And see, at least Nehemiah will read the words of the Netzer. He'll read the words of Yeshua and really speak the truth about what he says. And it just as he's saying this week's Torah portion and the Torah pearls that we put up on our site, that the Jews want to throw Yeshua under the bus. He was teaching the truth. Just because what Christians have done in his name is a debauchery doesn't make what he did or said wrong.